I want to do bookwork first. So 74. This is checking to see if it's binomial or not. So what's our first thing to check? What? Are there two outcomes? What are they?
Pick up or don't.
What or don't?
Reach live color.
Oh, yeah.
The person who doesn't reach.
What's the next one? What do you need to write there? We don't really have to get into this part that much, but what makes it independent?
Well, when you call someone, it's not going to affect when you call someone.
You call someone, it's not going to affect when you call somebody else, and it's random. What's my next thing?
Number of
And what do I know for this problem?
15.
And then the last one?
Probability stays the same.
And what, in general, we're saying probability of
Success.
Each individual of success.
Does not change.
each call has a what kind of probability?
25.
Reaching a person. So some form of this written. Don't forget to write these words, like the part that goes in front. Those two are kind of in the answer themselves, but I always have people who forget to write binomial and independent. Don't forget to write those. Alright, what?
Can we just say bins? Or do we have to write out the word?
You can use bins to remember, but that's what I'm saying. I still want to know what this part is. So is A yes or no? Because all four of those are checked. Is B yes or no?
No.
If it's no, how many things do you have to check? The thing that's no. So what's no here?
There wasn't just things.
We don't know how many times we're going to have to call. There's not a fixed number of calls taking place, so it is not binomial. Alright, so 75, when we do a binomial problem, what are the things that I say I write down about it?
That it's binomial, the probability.
What am I defining as success?
Okay. P and
What's probability?
4.
What is n?
7.
So this is your work to go along with the problem. If you don't write that down, you get counted off. Whereas if you wrote it out as the equation, all of those things are included, other than the word success. So I'm writing this as P parentheses what?
X is equal to 4.
And anytime that it is equal, that means what?
You use P.
You use pedia. So you're plugging in these numbers with x equaling 4, and you get what?
0.230.
Not the right one. Point what? 2,304.
0.230, yes.
It does not ask you to do this, but if I wanted the equation, just practice, what would be here?
Over 4.
to the,
4.
and then,
1 minus
which gives me, same thing, writing 1 minus 5, and then to the,
3rd.
so it didn't ask you to do that, but just making sure we're on the same page. Now, one thing I did not mention yesterday, that gives you no credit on the AP exam. So writing your calculator notation at any point on the AP exam gives you no credit. That's why we write all this out and then happen to do it in our calculator. So you need to write out everything to get credit. Any kind of calculator notation written down gets you no credit. That's just the background behind how you do it. All right, so 77, you're using the same one, except this time it says, so we still got all the, this all still applies to the same problem. Now we're writing it as P parentheses what?
Greater than or equal to 5.
So greater than 4, right? Just writing the way that is. So that's which numbers?
5, 6, 7.
But could you also do greater than or equal to 5?
Yes, but it doesn't help you at all. So like, what's the only buttons we can use in our calculator? If this is what or what?
Equals.
If this is equals or if this is less than or equal, and that's why you could write it as greater than or equal to 5, but it doesn't help.
So don't we do the complement anyway then?
Yes. So now these are the ones that I don't want. So I'm doing complement. So I'm doing the complement, that probability that X is what? And so that's one of my symbols that I can use in my calculator now. So less than or equal to means I can use what button?
CDF.
CDF. So now I can do 1 minus my CDF button, and I end up getting what as an answer here? I thought this was 1.7 something.
I got 1 point. I got 0.1402.
All right, then that's the, I'm talking about the 1 through 3 then.
But so when we do complement, does it have to be that like one is not and equal to and the other one is?
Anytime you want to shorthand anything in the calculator, it has to be this symbol.
So yeah, but so could I have written like probability of X greater than or equal to 5 and then
Yes, as long as you still write that.
okay, yeah.
Yep. Questions with any of the book ones?
How?
Alright, so the 3 that I did,
We were supposed to insert the one.
so would it be, how surprising would it be? This is kind of starting to get you in the direction that we're going. How often would we expect it to happen? About 14% of the time. So how surprising would that be? That's where some people are going to say yes, some people are going to say no, but I just need you to get the fact that, well, if it only happens this much of the time, is that surprising or is that not? Well, I mean, it does happen, maybe a little bit surprising, but not like something wrong kind of surprising. Alright, so student takes a 10-question true-false exam, guesses on each question. So what kind of problem is this? Binomial. So if, I don't remember if I mentioned that in this class, I did my other class. If I just ask you to do a problem, you can write that it's binomial and not go through bins because you can know that you did the things. If I ask you, verify that it's binomial, that's when I want you to write it out. But you don't have to go through and check those for every single problem. If I don't ask you for it explicitly, it's kind of like the behind the scenes, I figured that out. So it is binomial. What am I defining in this? Actually, let me write this out. I'm defining success. What else do I have? And yeah, and then my X, which I'll probably write separate. So this people are going to define wrong at first. Most people are going to think this is passing, and it is not. Because this is, all of these are talking about trials. So this is talking about trials. How many trials am I doing? 10. So what is a trial? So what do I want my success to be in my trial?
Answer the question correctly.
So it's individually like that. It's each trial, what is the success for that trial? So now, what is the probability that I get that success?
3 out of 10.
0.5.
Why?
Because it's saying that's false.
That makes sense.
And that's why I said some of these are tricky. It's not that these are hard problems, it's the wording of it. Some people just kind of overthink some things. So now, what am I finding the probability of?
Well, I did
Greater than or equal to 7.
yeah, x greater than equal to 7. So then you do 1 minus.
So what's my lowest number that it can be?
0.
If I'm, you know how I write this off to the side to kind of help me? If this is something like to 50, you could do, because that's all that I really need here. So don't like write up
I
one
thought you were
here.
678.
Oh, yeah, 678. So which numbers do I want?
7.
So what's the last number that I don't want?
6.
So I'm rewriting this as
1 minus the probability of x less than or equal to 6.
and then so at that point I'm typing it in my calculator. This is my CDF now because less than or equal to. And what I get is this answer.
1, 7. 1.
Oh yeah, this is the one that was 17. So if you have a little bit over a 17% chance that you're going to pass,
I would not recommend not.
I would probably not recommend not studying.
Take the gamble.
Good luck, yes. And the fact that it is a true false, congratulations. In our class, when there are 5 answer choices, that's going to go really quick. Questions on this one? This one is going to mix people up because of the wording. It is binomial. You get in the habit of, you have to write that because the one we learned today is not binomial. What are we defining as success in this problem? In a survey, 30% of the people interviewed said that they bought most of their books during the last 3 months of the year. What? So it's success?
That they bought their books in the last 3 months.
Most of. What else do I need? So how many am I going to check for success or not? What is my probability of success? And then, so now, what am I actually finding the probability of?
Exactly.
And so if it's an equals, what am I doing in my calculator?
PDF.
The PDF. And what do I get for this one?
0.2669.
6 what?
9. It rounds out yours.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't have it with me. Are we agreeing with this or is it not 8? I have it written down over there.
Those two.
There's an 8 to go. Alright, and then the last one, this one looks a little bit confusing because it gives you 3 out of 4 and then it gives you 3 out of 7. What are we defining as, so it is binomial. What are we defining as success?
I think the court goes too much.
What else do I need? And just because I've been writing it that way. So how many am I going to test? What's my probability of getting this?
0.75.
And 0.75, 3 out of 4, you can write it either way, but that's where that comes from. So this is here, this is here. So now I'm writing it, probably the x is what? What do I want to do with that to be able to type it in my calculator? So it already is the way I want it, so CDF, and you get
0.0706.
that seems low, is that right?
That's what I got.
Not that I'm doubting you.
No, you're good.
That sounded bad.
I'm always like, should I say it? I can say it wrong.
I mean, I've got it written down, I can look it up. Alright, questions on any of the homework?